How you doing today? It's me, and I am willing to discuss some history right now. And I was wondering if any of you guys would be interested. So, listen up right here. The Donnell Douglas F4 Phantom II, one of the world's greatest fighter bombers of the 20th century. From the Vietnam War right up to Operation Desert Storm, this aircraft has done almost everything and has flown for both the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds before the F4 was replaced. But some had speculated that the Phantom was a fuel guzzler. It burned off so much fuel that basically the loss rate of the F4 during the Vietnam War was about 10-1, and that was not only just coming from North Vietnamese MiGs, but from surface-to-air missiles, SAMs. Flying telephone poles that would fly up to try to shoot down the F4 Phantom II, but you had a number of aces that included Steve Ritchie, Chuck de Bellevue, Randy Cunningham, Robert Olds. Those guys were aces who flew the F4 Phantom II. And it was Colonel Olds, a World War II fighter ace, who had managed to shoot down 5 North Vietnamese MiGs before his tour of duty in Vietnam was over. Beginning in 1958, the prototype, the XF4H1 Phantom II made its maiden flight from Lambert Field in St. Louis, Missouri, and by 1961, the F4H was the first variant to go into service with the U.S. Navy aboard the USS Forrestal and the USS Independence, later before switching over from the F4H1 to the F4B. The B was a more better version. One unit, VF-84, the Jolly Rogers, which had originally flown off from the aircraft carrier Franklin Delano Roosevelt and would later be switched over to the USS Independence, was considered one of the best. The U.S. Air Force would receive its first F-4s in 1964 as the F-4C, and later the F-4D, and the photo reconnaissance version, the RF-4C. And by 1967, 2 versions were already making its maiden flight, the F-4J and the F-4E. The F-4J was delivered to the U.S. Navy, and the F-4E to the U.S. Air Force. The E variant was the most definitive version of the F4 Phantom II, with 2 J58 turbofan engines, and where it could go at twice at the speed of sound. The F4 was very maneuverable, both with the AIM-7 Sparrow heat-seeking, with the AIM-7 Sparrow and the AIM-9 Sidewinder. The Sidewinder was the heat seeker, and the F4 Phantom II was armed with an M61 Vulcan cannon. Other weapons that include the Mark 82 freefall bombs, 1,000-pound iron bombs, napalm, you name it, the F4 carried it. And it would see the most extensive action throughout the 20th century with Israel and with Iran. The Iranians used the F4 during their war with Iraq, and they lost a number of their F4s from MiGs, well, from Iraqi MiGs. And the Israelis, they took the brunt. They lost a number of their F4Es from Egyptian SA-2 Guideline surface-to-air missiles that just literally blew them right out of the sky. And the aircraft that they mostly relied on was the French-built Dassault Mirage. The Mirage was an excellent fighter bomber, but basically instead of using missiles, they used the Mirage's gun, a 20mm cannon to shoot down both Egyptian and Syrian MiGs. The F4 would serve long with the Israeli Air Force up until it was replaced by the F-16 Fighting Falcon. And now, even today, the Israeli Air Force now has the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II as already in service with the Israeli Air Force. But the F-4, hands down, was one of the best fighter bombers in the entire world. Germany, Spain, England, Egypt, Israel, Greece, Turkey, Iran, Japan, and Australia flew the F4 Phantom II. And today, not even a single F4 Phantom II still flies today. The U.S. Air Force had a demonstration team flying QF-4E Phantom IIs about a couple of years ago. But now, mostly, if you go to an aviation museum, what's the only aircraft you want to see? And that's an F4 Phantom II. And the museum to go to is the Steve F. Halsey Air and Space Museum near Dulles International Airport in Virginia. So, when you have the chance, stop by at stop by at Steve F. Halsey Air and Space Museum, and you'll see an F-4J Phantom II and the markings of the F-31 Tomcatters. So, the F-4 finished out its career, and the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy used them as pilotless target drones for F-18s and F-14 Tomcats to shoot them down and send them down to to a watery grave off the Gulf of Mexico. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell on the Donnell Douglas F4 Phantom II. To know more about the F4, check out some videos on YouTube about the F4 Phantom II and its true great history in the making. And sad to say, only there's one up in Massachusetts that has a that has an F4C that Colonel Steve Ritchie flies, along with the B-17 Flying Fortress and the B-24 Liberator and the and the North American B-25 Mitchell. So, and others, etc. So, that's it on the history of the McDonnell Douglas F4, F4 Phantom 2. If you like this video or my other videos, check me out on YouTube. So, anyway, like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, see you later.